They told you to chase success. They told you to study hard, to follow the rules, to fit in, to wait your turn, and one day, you'd make it. But they never told you that success has no interest in those who wait. It comes only to those who claim it not as a dream, but as a destiny. They never told you that success is not about luck, or talent, or timing. It's about law. An unseen law, as real as gravity, one that rewards the mind that dares to think, believe, and persist beyond all limitation. This is the truth they never taught you. Success is not something you chase, it's something you become. Every man or woman who ever rose from nothing to greatness, from the dirt, from the doubt, from the depths of despair, understood this one thing. The world does not shape you. You shape the world by the strength of your mind. Think about Edison, working night after night, in a cramped lab, until his fingers bled. 10,000 failures. Yet, he said, I have not failed. I have simply found 10,000 ways that will not work. That's not optimism. That's understanding law. He knew that persistence is the price of creation, and that no force on earth could deny a mind that refused to quit. Carnegie built steel empires from ideas. Ford turned a vision into an industry. Disney turned imagination into a kingdom. None of them waited for permission. None of them waited for the right time. They decided, and in that decision, the universe began to bend. That is the first truth about success. It begins in the mind and ends in the world. If your thoughts are weak, your results will always be small. If your thoughts are powerful, your results will move mountains. You were never taught how to think, only what to think. You were taught to follow instructions, to memorize, to obey, to stay safe. But you were never taught to imagine, to visualize, to believe. They told you to find a job, not a purpose. To seek comfort, not greatness. To earn a living, not to build a legacy. And so, millions live and die never knowing the power sleeping inside them. Never realizing that their thoughts are the blueprint of their destiny. Here is what they never told you. The richest place on earth is not the gold mines of Africa or the oil fields of Arabia. It's the graveyard. Because buried there are dreams that were never lived, inventions that were never created, books that were never written, songs that were never sung. All because someone was too afraid to start. Success, real success, does not begin with action. It begins with belief. Belief so fierce that it borders on madness. Belief so unshakable that even when the world laughs, even when your closest friends doubt, even when your own reflection questions you, you still move. Because the truth about success is this: it belongs to the obsessed, to the relentless, to those who would rather die in pursuit than live in mediocrity. There is a power inside you right now, call it faith, call it spirit, call it energy that, when focused, can make the impossible inevitable. But that power demands something in return. It demands discipline. Discipline is the bridge between thought and reality. Without it, dreams dissolve. Without it, desire dies. Without it, faith becomes fantasy. The world applauds talent, but it rewards consistency. Because discipline is the fire that turns belief into fact. It is the daily choice to do what must be done, long after the mood has left you. You think success comes from motivation? No. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Motivation fades with emotion. Discipline survives the storm. Look at any man or woman who has achieved greatness. They are not superhuman. They are simply willing. Willing to wake up earlier. Willing to stay later. Willing to suffer longer. Willing to believe harder. They understand that discipline is the highest form of self-love, because to discipline yourself is to declare, I am worth the effort. I am worth the sacrifice. Every second you waste doubting your worth is a second you rob from your destiny. Every excuse is a thief in disguise. You say you don't have time? No, you just haven't made your purpose a priority. You say you don't have money? Neither did the ones who built empires from nothing. You say you don't have support? Then stand alone until your success makes them see. Because the truth about success is that it's not given, it's earned. And the price is high. It costs your comfort, your sleep, your fear of being misunderstood. But what you get in return is freedom. There comes a moment when every dreamer must decide. Will I continue to live as I am, or will I become who I'm meant to be? That decision is the turning point of destiny. Every breakthrough begins with a single act of defiance. Defiance against the old self, against doubt, against limitation. In that moment, you are no longer a product of your past. You are the architect of your future. You are not born lucky. You are born capable. Capable of creating, capable of deciding, capable of building an entirely new world from the thoughts that dominate your mind. That is the truth no school dared to teach you, because a society built on control cannot survive a population that truly thinks for itself. When you begin to truly think, you stop being a follower. You stop waiting for signs. You stop hoping someone else will hand you your destiny. You become dangerous, not in violence, but in vision. Because vision is the most powerful force on earth. Every man and woman who ever changed history began with a vision so clear it felt real long before it existed. Ford saw millions driving cars when the world was still on horseback. The Wright brothers saw flight when science said it was impossible. Oprah saw her influence before the cameras ever saw her face. Jobs saw a world connected through the power of a single idea. Vision is the preview of destiny. It is the blueprint of your future drawn not on paper, but on the canvas of the mind. When you close your eyes and see the life you desire, feel it, believe it, live it, you begin to set unseen forces into motion. Because the mind is not just a mirror of reality, it is the architect of it. Every thought you hold long enough takes form. Every belief you feed with emotion takes root. They told you to be realistic. But the realist builds nothing new. The visionary creates the future, the realist will later call common sense. You must learn to protect your vision from small thinkers. Do not expect the blind to understand your sight. People will project their fears onto your dream, not because you can't do it, but because they couldn't. Guard your mind like a fortress. Feed it with faith. Fuel it with purpose. Surround it with the kind of people who remind you of where you're going, not where you've been. You cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation made for a shack. So stop lowering your standards to make others comfortable. Stop explaining your fire to those who fear the flame. Your purpose was not meant for their approval, it was meant for your fulfillment. And that's the next truth about success they never taught you. Purpose is the power source of perseverance. Without purpose, motivation dies quickly. Without purpose, work feels like suffering. Without purpose, even success feels empty. Purpose is the reason that pulls you out of bed when the world says, rest. It's the reason you keep going when logic says, stop. It's the silent whisper that says, this is why you were born. When you live with purpose, obstacles lose their power. Rejection becomes redirection. Delay becomes refinement. Pain becomes fuel. Purpose gives meaning to struggle. It transforms ordinary effort into sacred labor. It turns what you have to do into what you get to do. But purpose alone is not enough. Because the path of purpose will test every part of you. It will strip away your laziness, your excuses, your self-doubt, until only strength remains. You will face nights where faith feels foolish. You will face silence from the world that once applauded you. You will be misunderstood, underestimated, forgotten. And yet this is where the chosen are refined. The strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire. The brightest diamond is born under pressure. The tallest tree grows against the wind. You must learn to see resistance not as rejection, but as recognition, a sign that life knows you're ready for more. Resilience is the great divider between those who dream and those who do. Everyone wants success until they realize how much failure it demands. The path to greatness is not a straight line, it's a battlefield of faith. You will lose, you will fall, you will question everything. But those who keep walking through the storm, they become unbreakable. You see, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is success in progress. Every failure is a teacher disguised as defeat. Every setback is a seed of equal or greater opportunity, but only if you refuse to quit. The man who never fails is the man who never tries. The woman who never falls is the one who never climbs. But the ones who rise, again and again they become legends. Resilience is not born in comfort. It is born in conflict in the days when everything goes wrong, and you keep moving anyway. It is the inner voice that whispers, "Not yet, but soon." When the world says, "Give up," resilience answers, "Watch me." When doubt says, "You can't," resilience says, "I will." When fear says, "It's over," resilience says, "This is where I begin." Every great soul has faced dark nights of the mind. Even Napoleon Hill himself broke, rejected, laughed at, yet he persisted, and his philosophy lit a fire that still burns in millions today. Why? Because truth cannot be killed. It can be denied, delayed, resisted, but not destroyed. And here, faith, that invisible power that turns thought into form, dream into destiny, and vision into victory. You can't touch it, you can't see it, and yet it moves mountains. The greatest secret of success isn't written in books or found in formulas, it's hidden in the silence between your thoughts. It is the unwavering belief that what you seek is already yours. They told you to work hard. They told you to hustle, grind, sweat, sacrifice. But they never told you the truth that all the effort in the world means nothing if the mind behind it is filled with doubt. Because success begins in the unseen. The invisible realm of thought, emotion, and vibration, the frequency you live in when no one is watching. Faith is not a wish, it's alignment. It's the quiet conviction that the universe responds to certainty, not confusion. The man of faith does not hope things will happen, he knows they will. He knows because he's already seen it in his mind's eye. He's already walked the path in his imagination, felt the success in his spirit, and tasted the victory before the first step was ever taken. That is how every empire was built, first in the mind, then in matter. The world you see around you is nothing more than the residue of thoughts once believed impossible. Every skyscraper, every company, every invention, every revolution, all began as a picture in someone's imagination. Edison didn't wait to see light before he believed in it. He believed so fiercely that reality had no choice but to follow. Faith is seeing without sight, knowing without evidence. It's the highest form of intelligence because it connects man to the creative power of the universe. There is an unseen law that governs all creation, the law of vibration. Everything you can see, touch, and experience is energy in motion. Your thoughts, your emotions, your words, they are frequencies that ripple through the field of possibility, attracting like unto like. That's why faith is not just belief, it's frequency alignment. When you believe something with your entire being, your vibration changes, your energy shifts, and life begins to reorganize around that frequency. You can't attract abundance while vibrating in lack. You can't attract opportunity while vibrating in fear. You can't attract love while vibrating in doubt. You must become what you seek. The world doesn't give you what you want, it gives you who you are. Most people pray for success while secretly expecting failure. They visualize their dreams but speak their doubts. They say, "I believe," but their actions whisper, "I don't." And so the universe listens not to their words, but to their vibration. You don't attract what you say, you attract what you mean. You don't manifest what you wish for, You manifest what you expect. Faith is not repetition, it's resonance. It's when your heart, mind, and action speak the same language. That is the moment creation begins. The successful don't just visualize success, they embody it. They walk like it, talk like it, think like it, breathe like it, even before it exists. They live as if they already have it, and because of that, they eventually do. Visualization is not fantasy, it's rehearsal. It's training the mind to recognize the pattern of the reality you desire. When you close your eyes and see yourself living the life you dream of, in detail, in feeling, in emotion, your subconscious begins to accept it as truth, and what the subconscious accepts, the conscious mind will eventually create. You are the director of an invisible film that will soon play out on the screen of reality. Every image you hold, every feeling you entertain, every word you repeat, is a line in the script of your future. That's why the wise guard their minds like treasure, because they know imagination is creation in progress. Einstein said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Because knowledge shows you what is, imagination reveals what can be. And only those who dare to see the unseen can bring it into the scene. The tragedy is that most people use their imagination against themselves. They visualize failure. They imagine rejection. They see worst-case scenarios and call it being realistic. But realism is often just fear in disguise. Faith demands that you see what isn't yet visible and act as though it were already here. When you close your eyes tonight, what do you see? A life of struggle or a life of triumph? A future full of doubt or one filled with divine certainty? Because that image, that feeling, is your broadcast to the universe. And life will always send you experiences that match your frequency. So don't pray for success in the language of failure. Don't speak of abundance while feeling unworthy of it. Don't declare belief while secretly expecting disappointment. Align your entire being, thought, word, emotion, and action, and watch how quickly life bends to your vibration.